Hello friends, I wish you all a very happy new year, year 2020, the year that brings many transformations and many deep inner changes, both collectively and individually. In numerous videos we have talked about specific transits and aspects that are happening this year, so I do not want to repeat myself. I made videos about Saturn in Capricorn, Jupiter in Capricorn, conjunctions of Saturn and Pluto. There are two videos about this conjunction. Then about plutocracy, lunar nodes, transits, eclipses, and so on. There are going to be further videos on YouTube and on my website symbolicthinking.net. So you can check all of those recommended videos. There are also videos for each zodiac sign for the year 2020. They're on YouTube already, so you can watch them as well if you wish. In other languages, I have longer versions for sale, and hopefully I will make the same thing in English in the next years. Now I did not have time for that because I work in 3 languages. This is not a classic horoscope for the 2020. It is rather a free interpretation of upcoming transits that should motivate you to better understand yourself and social events of the year. So in the year 2020, there are many planets in Capricorn, which is a karmic sign. And Saturn is a karmic planet. Pluto is a planet of death, evolution, transformation. Saturn and Pluto are so-called dark planets. And in various ways, they both symbolize unconscious. But both fortunately, Jupiter also appears in Capricorn to bring in light, knowledge, and faith. And the year will of course be marked by that, by this transit of Jupiter, by the help of Jupiter. So to analyze the situation a little, Capricorn is the pinnacle of the earth element, that is matter in full force. Saturn is the planet of everything physical. Saturn is the planet of everything physical. In psychology, Saturn is the shadow and thus the dark side of personality, though it can represent the collective unconscious as well, the same as Pluto. Saturn is the antipode to Jupiter. Jupiter is the divine principle, the light of knowledge, the spark of life. So it is similar to the sun, which also represents divine love. From psychology, we know that the shadow, in psychological sense, shadow, longs for consciousness. And the same way, the cold heart longs for love. This is this longing between Saturn and the sun. While the cold or empty soul longs for fire, warmth, and meaning. And this is Saturn in opposition to Jupiter. Saturn needs those things from Jupiter. Saturn builds the world with a hammer, sickle, and ruler. It has tools. I don't need to mention all of those tools, but you most probably know that all associations and political systems that use these symbols are in fact representatives of Saturn. So yeah, to build is fine, but even the highest towers and bridges can be built. But if you don't have those life sparks, if you don't have humanity there, if you don't have warmth in people's hearts, then that's all just a stone. We can similarly say that structures and constructions can also collapse. And then again, if there is no life spark, if there is no this humanity and warmth of the heart, then everything is over basically. So by using modern vocabulary, now we are facing something like that, and we can say that now are active collective programs of destruction and of self-destruction. That's Pluto. And the world, of course, needs renewal and regeneration. which is the energy that is also available to us. In the conjunction of Saturn and Pluto, Pluto leads. Pluto is the leader. And this will be especially visible at the collective level. So something has been built for a long time and will be destroyed by itself to create new forces and new structures and to restore life. This is the process that we will go through. Jupiter brings the spark here, like when using flint and steel. The spark is the symbol of giving birth to a new life, and that's something that brings new light. So the year begins with the meeting of dark planets. First, in January, there is a conjunction of Saturn and Pluto. Further, during the year, Jupiter and Pluto will meet 3 times. That will be in April, in June, and in November. And they will enrich the process. And Saturn and Jupiter will meet in December, and they will actually end the process. So, at the end of the year, the world exclaims, "The king is dead, long live the king." In addition to having many planets in Capricorn, we live in the time when Neptune is in Pisces, which is always very significant for the spiritual development of humanity. I made a video about this transit that happens once in 120 years and something. So in 2020, Neptune and Jupiter will create sextiles 3 times. That will be in February, in July, and in October. This is the aspect of awakening that gives new visions and ideals. And this is the path to go. This is our way. We should follow Neptune and Jupiter. In fact, it is the path of spiritual growth of man. However, one should know that sometimes, for the sake of new visions and new ideals, something needs to be sacrificed. So with this transit, there is a growing concern for the there is a growing concern, yes, for the human being or for humanity. Some sort of compassion awakens, so people will help one another, whether through organizations or otherwise. We are going to go through this scenario during the year. Neptune in Pisces also brings spiritual renaissance, which is a fantastic thing. But many find it difficult to accept it because they may not have the feeling for it. So Neptune affects them negatively and leads to addictions. This is a big problem of our time. I want to warn here that many people who take pills, sedatives, and similar drugs are losing the opportunity to go through painful soul and mental processes and to cleanse themselves. We said in some videos, crises are useful and diseases heals. This is something that is known in the East and also in psychology. So we have, so I wanted to say, after difficult soul experiences or hard mental processes or after temptations, call that as you want, a person has a better view of himself, herself, and has the urge to become more aware and honest with himself and to change as much as possible. Of course, one can say that one life is maybe not enough for a person to change. And that's true in a big way. But there are special moments in time, such as this one in 2020. This is a really special moment in time, special moment in history. And it offers to us such opportunity, individually and collectively, to make a big step towards transformation. Everything that happens to us is a lesson of something. Whatever happened to us, also individually or collectively, teaches us something. If you follow my videos, you most probably know that this is my approach to astrology as well. We only learn through life, and astrology can help that process. And most of my clients experience life as a process, and they work on their personal and spiritual growth. So it makes no sense to ask, when will this stop, Individually it will stop, or when I will have normal life. Individually this stops when one awakens, and collectively also it stops when majority of people understands that this is not the way, we need to find a new way. So through my practice, I have met people who went through very harsh time, but have radiated love. So now maybe you are asking what kept them going. The answer is love for life. This is the spark we mentioned a while ago. It occurs during friction. This process is important. So now the world we live in, to put it mildly, is very strange. When we already have all this technology, internet, free flow of information in a certain sense, if we have all those roads and bridges and everything we have, we need to be more spiritual and grateful to God, one would say. Not the other way around. So if God gives us, we should be grateful to Him and give back. And now you are wondering how to give back. Well, I learned that during my modest study of Vedas. So far I learned that we give back with our purity, with our moral purity, with our responsibility and conscious state of mind, and of course with love, especially with love for God. There is no need to do anything else, basically. So there is nothing else to do, we can say, collectively, as well as individually, but to free man and to free society from prejudice and all models of living. We need to be born again and to become more spiritual beings. That is how we will help the process. Being more spiritual doesn't mean being more material and think of money or similar things. Being more spiritual just means that, to be aware that we are part of something that is bigger than us, and that we, with everything what we do, we add energy into that. Everything what we do. I think that many Capricorns, including members of other astrological signs, will create a new personal calendar and measure the time starting from 2020. This sounds funny, but I really think it's possible, because this can be really key here for many people to awaken. We also mentioned karma at the beginning, and I think here of karma as the reaction to some action from the past. So I believe that many will be forgiven. Transit suggests that. But we also must forgive ourselves and others. Forgive to be forgiven, as Christianity teaches. One should get rid of pride, grief, anger, hate, envy, jealousy, all negative feelings. They just block our growth. You know most probably that on the internet there are extremely many negative feelings. This will not help us. We need a different approach. That's my opinion. Of course you can say something else, but I'm just saying my opinion. I think we need to get rid of negative feelings in any form. So in the summer there will be the last eclipse on the Cancer-Capricorn axis, and this indicates the end of the processes. But the real end, actually, even if it is suggested in the summer, the real end comes at the end of the year. Summer is going to be very intense, maybe even painful in a way. But we said painful things and crises are good, because this is how we grow. We learn from such experiences. Even if now we say, for example, that the end is at the end of the year, one should not sit with his arms crossed and wait, but actively work on himself, herself, for transformation at all. So what exactly can we expect at the collective level, you would ask? Surely a switch of power. It is already clear that the world will no longer be ruled by one dominant power, but there are going to be two or three at least. Only we have to hope that change will come without major conflicts, and then the world will be more human than it is now. Let me mention that Uranus is in Taurus and is constantly now, daily, changing our values so far. So bringing to us new understanding of money, energy, and ecology. There are 3 videos about Uranus in Taurus that I recorded last year, so you maybe want to check them also. And that's all for now that I wanted to tell you about the year 2020 in this short video. I want to apologize to all of you who could not log in to the site symbolicthinking.net. In the previous days, we were increasing the capacity of the site because we were selling a lot more products than before. Now you can freely use the site again. I do not offer much things in English, as you know maybe, but there is now available interactive online course for beginners. Perhaps you will decide to buy that. You can also feel free to contact me if you want a personal consultations based on astropsychology and spiritual astrology, or if you want theta healing consultations, which is some sort of a spiritually energetic healing. I combine theta healing with some other things that I studied in China. Or you maybe can order analysis based on Feng Shui. I also send some horoscope analysis in audio form, not many. So follow us, there will be plenty online content on the symbolicthinking.net during the next year, hopefully in English as well. And if you like this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, send this video to your friends. Thank you very much for that in advance. I wish you a happy new year and many happy, grand, big beginnings.